Barbie has incited the nation. People are mad, real mad, especially women. Women can't stand the fact that Greta Gerwig and Margot Robbie, they've been snubbed by the Oscars. But yet there's Ken with the win. We're here to tell you, though, the outrage is misplaced. It's not Barbie that has been schnookered by the Oscars. No, it's the entire country of Japan. Hello, folks. Welcome to the Pro Channel. What a joy it is that you are here with us. And who are you here with? Well, you're here with me and Culture Casino. And Culture Casino is, of course, the hardest working man on YouTube. Culture, welcome back to the channel.
Hey, thanks for having me, Pro. I don't know about that. I think you're the hardest working man on YouTube.
We'll work hard together, and we do that, folks, so that we can endeavor to explain entertainment and keep you ahead of the culture curve. Big hits on the channel in the last 48 hours. Talking about Kathleen Kennedy scoops, talking about Rachel Zegler scoops today. We're going to be talking about this Barbie situation, but more so, I would say Godzilla. Culture, here's the latest outrage. Here's what they're shrieking about online. Feels very sus to me. This out of Pinkvilla by Needy Joshi. Fans outraged as Barbie's Greta Gerwig and Margot Robbie get snubbed at the 2024 Oscars. Barbie movie scores 8 Academy Award nominations, but sparks controversy as Margot Robbie gets notably omitted from the Best Actress category, igniting a social media backlash. They just couldn't get enough. They only got 8 awards, and they weren't the right awards. They want Best Picture, darn it. Barbie, the blockbuster film, secured 8 nominations for the 96th Academy Awards, making it the 4th most nominated movie of the year. It's not enough! Despite recognition in categories like Best Supporting Actor and Actress for Ryan Gosling and America Ferrera, as well as a Best Adapted Screenplay nod for Greta Gerwig and Noah, how we pronounce this? Baumbach?
Yeah, Baumbach, yeah.
We'll go with it. It faced significant snubs. Notably, Gerwig was omitted from the Best Director category, and Margot Robbie, who embodies Barbie, was notably absent from the Best Actress category. Culture, we're not going to show all the outrage that's online. Social media has went absolutely insane. There are people who cannot stand this. Their brains have exploded. There's injustice all over the world, but it did not really hit them square in the face until this happened to Barbie. Culture, should there even be any outrage about this?
Oh, absolutely not. They are not justified. As you pointed out, they had multiple award nominations and, not quite as many as Oppenheimer, which was a vastly superior film. But yeah, I mean, they have every right to be outraged, but is it legitimate? Of course not. They just, as you pointed out, didn't get the right nominations. And I would argue, how could you say that Barbie is Best Picture?
Well, I think what's happened here, Culture, is that Ken was supposed to be the butt of the joke in Barbie.
Yes.
And now he's the, now Ryan is getting the awards potentially. And that has infuriated them. What do you think about the idea that Ken has the win?
Oh, I think it's fantastic. And I think it's so great, especially when you see noted directors like Oliver Stone attacking Ryan Gosling for even making that film.
How dare you exist, Ryan Gosling?
Well,
how dare you exist?
Actually, he's just saying, hey, you lowered yourself. You're infantilizing.
Well, but the women's side of this is the opposite. The women are like, why do we even have to have Ken in the movie? It's so funny.
Well, but again, I mean, I would say that I'm Just Ken is, one of the best parts of that film, and I hated it. They really did want this Misandrous masterpiece to basically sweep all the awards, and
right.
I think they're overreaching because even artistically, it didn't really stray very far from the expected. So when it comes to these film awards, you're looking for things that are exceptional, not just things that perform in the box office, or at least that's the way it used to be. So
how dare you, Culture? Are you claiming Barbie is non-exceptional?
Yes.
The torches are out for Culture Casino. But don't worry, because Paul Chatto is actually going to take all the heat for you. And folks, we don't normally do this. We don't normally recommend other videos in our videos. But oh my gosh, the Oscar snub Barbie, Best Director, Best Actress, by Paul Chatto. Call me Chatto. You got to go watch this after this video. It's absolutely fantastic.
He's brilliant. I loved it. Yesterday that popped up, and it kind of disconnected the video that I was going to do on this subject. But this is the bigger snub.
This is the real snub, and folks, hang in there because we're going to tell you how this goes way beyond Godzilla And once we tell you what we're talking about, once we give you the full picture, you're going to have a light bulb moment where you go, oh, because I'm here to tell you, Hollywood is actually scared of Japan right now.
Yes,
and we're going to walk through exactly how that is and why that's being manifested through this. This is out of Entertainment Weekly. Godzilla stomps into Oscars race after 7 decades of snubs, but King Kong still reigns supreme. Godzilla -1 has scored Kaiju franchise's first Oscar nomination, but several of the King Kong films previously received nods from the Academy. By Clark Collis. The Oscars' 7 decades-long snubbing of a certain giant lizard is over. On Tuesday, the Godzilla franchise received its first ever Academy Award nomination with a surprise hit, Godzilla -1, being recognized in the category of Best Visual Effects. Released in the U.S. at the start of December, the movie has grossed $51 million at the domestic box office and $98 million worldwide. On what kind of a budget, Culture?
Oh, very slim. Less than $10 million. My goodness.
So profit.
Oh, yeah.
For nearly 40 years, this is coming from the director, for nearly 40 years, I've been making films while admiring the artistry of Hollywood visual effects. And I feel that I have finally come this far, said Godzilla -1 director and VFX supervisor Takashi Yamasaki in a statement after this year's nominations were announced. I had not set my sights on being nominated, but I'm very happy to have been brought to this place. I think it is a wonderful day for Godzilla. And that's very kind of the director to say, who, by the way, Culture, I would suggest that he is probably the best director on the planet right now. I mean, I mean that. So I want to look now. I'm
with you. I think that he missed out on many well-deserved Oscar nominations, and the Academy should be ashamed of itself. Although, easily in the international category, Japan had already submitted another film prior to Godzilla's release. So how would they have known?
But it shouldn't even have to compete in that category. This is just flat out one of the best movies of the year, maybe the best movie of the year. Here's the full Oscar nomination list for 2024. This out of CBS News. We've got Best Picture. Nowhere is Godzilla -1 seen. Now, I'm here to tell you, Culture, I talked with LW Ghost, who has he has the opportunity to see these things screened, so he sees a lot of movies.
Right.
He gets the screeners. He gets to vote. We talked in a video about what were the best films, and he came up with a few that were better in his mind than Godzilla -1.
Oh.
But Godzilla -1 still should definitely be on this list. I said it was the best movie of 2023, best wide release. It at least deserves to be somewhere in Best Picture. It's not. If we go down to Best Director, there's no doubt whatsoever. I mean, there's just no way that you can say that Yamasaki should not be in the Best Director category, at least in the running. He made a film that looks like it cost $300 million in production on a $10 million budget. Yeah. I mean, you know, I don't know how to, that's like going 300 miles on 10 miles worth of gas. I don't know how you can possibly not, you know, stand back and say, wow, what a miracle.
I'm with you, because you say 10 million. They say less than 10 million. And originally the production budget reported widely was 15 million. And I'm going, how did they do this for 15 million, let alone 10 or less? Yeah, it's not even just from the visual standpoint. The fact that he really was a traditional director in every sense of the word, because he was involved in not only directing the film, but he basically pre-visualized the entire thing. He was the chief person on the VFX thing, which he's noted for. I mean, he's a VFX genius, according to, you know, many others in Japan. And he had many other credits in this film because of just how involved he was, because he was also the story writer. So, I mean, wow. Well,
and that's why I think this is egregious then again, too, because when we get to original screenplay, there's absolutely nothing. I thought the audio was fantastic. There's nothing in audio.
Sound design, soundtrack, everything was so fitting. It was tailor-made. Again, you don't see a lot of films like that. You have to look at the grander scope things. I mean, this year probably the only thing that was similar as far as sound and everything else goes would have been Oppenheimer. You know, as far as the way the sound design and everything kind of was, you know, structured around how the audio was built in a lot of scenes, and it's unbelievable. Anyway,
right. Yeah. Well, Culture, the other thing that I want to point out, this is going to be the aha moment for so many out there. Not only has Godzilla been snubbed, and I want to go back to the article real quick, too, because I want to show everybody sort of how this is played. So Entertainment Weekly says, Godzilla stomps into Oscars race after 7 decades of snubs. Well, that's fine. You gave it a VFX, nod, but this movie is fantastic, and it's way more than a Godzilla movie. It's way more than a Godzilla movie. It just happens to be a Godzilla movie, but it's first and foremost a human story, and it's tremendous. But if we go back to the Oscar nominations, this is where I think things get very interesting, because it's not just Godzilla. So while we have the screeching and the anger, and maybe some of it's justified, maybe I'm being harsh and maybe I'm being dismissive, you know, but there's all this anger about the Barbie situation. Fair enough, okay? Maybe Pro is being, you know, just an awful person and not taking it as seriously as I should. That said, we're missing, I think, that Japan had probably its best year ever in terms of Hollywood entertainment. Now, Japan dominates in the video game industry, right? Because Nintendo. And by the way, that's where we're going if you all have guessed this. Take a look at animated feature films. So it's not only that Godzilla, which I consider to be the best film of 2023, and others consider to be in the top 5. It's not just that it only gets one nod. And we're not saying that it's like some sort of popcorn eating, you know, pop culture kind of movie that it's a fun little blockbuster for the summer. No, we're saying it's an artistic success. It's a tremendous film.
I'll say it's an incredible character study. I mean, and the ability to probe the depths of sorrow and guilt and remorse, and I mean, it was a film that was packed full of very human stories. And normally, that's my biggest complaint in big rubber monster movies is they focus too much on the humans. Well, in this particular case, this performance by these actors and actresses were the whole reason to go. It was, I mean, the big monster's in there for less than 10 minutes. Well, because everything else in this film focused so completely on the characters and their experiences and what got them to the point where they had to deal with this incredibly difficult problem. It's a masterpiece of filmmaking.
Well, I'm here to tell the audience, Culture. Yeah. Godzilla -1 is not about Godzilla.
No.
Godzilla -1 is about post-World War II Japan finding its identity. Yeah, that's what the movie is about.
Well, what most people don't understand is why was it called -1, Pro?
I don't know, Culture. Why was it called -1?
Because Japan had been reduced from baseline to -1. The country. Because of what happened during the World War, right? That, of course, they kicked off in a strange way. But, well, not a strange way, a pretty rough way for the United States, but they were trying to keep us out of the war. Regardless, Japan had been reduced to such an extent that they were -1 in, you know, the civilization category. So it's that's why it is. I mean, Godzilla shows up into a situation where Japan's just unprepared for it. So, you know, you're already starting off in a deficit, which is why, again, -1. It was incredible.
Fantastic. Yeah. There's another film that is -1 in terms of the Oscar nods it should have received, and that's Mario, Culture.
Oh,
animated feature film. Mario is the second highest grossing animated feature film of all time. That should be enough for a nod, right? Well, I mean, let's just look. Do we think Nimona should be there, or do we think that Super Mario Brothers should be there? Do we think Robot Dreams should be there? Like, listen, The Boy and the Heron deserves to be there, and it's a Japanese release. It will not win, so that's the nod. Elemental is on there because they're trying to save Pixar. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, I think, absolutely deserves to be there in terms of animation. It's fantastic. Story-wise, there are some issues. A lot of people enjoyed it. No hate here. But you're telling me that Super Mario should not be there, and Nimona and Robot Dreams should be there.
Well, to be fair, I think Elemental shouldn't even be. It shouldn't have been eligible. Elemental's performance globally, you know, might have been, you know,
right. Okay. We've got a huge flop sitting there looking at us.
Yeah, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse absolutely is, even especially from the artistic side of animation, certainly shouldn't have been here. Robot Dreams, you could make an argument for, and Nimona, I mean, why? But you're saying that the highest performing film, you know, based on the wildly popular Nintendo property that received just scads of audience support, isn't artistically in or at the same level as some of these other films. It's vast. It walks past all of these other films, with perhaps the exception of The Boy and the Heron, which I think will win. So,
well, you think it'll win? I think it'll go to Spider-Man, and I think that, although I could be wrong, and I'll come back and admit if I am. But I think that because I think that Hollywood is genuinely scared right now of Japan. I think that Japan is, it's not like Hollywood thinks, oh, well, Japan's going to completely destroy our industry. But it's like, for the very first time, Japan is producing content that the mainstream of America is wishing to see more than they wish to see what Hollywood produces. Like, there's an actual risk now that Hollywood could lose a not insignificant percentage of its overall market capture to Japanese films, anime, manga, video games. And so you know, you look at the songs and you say, why is Peaches not on there? Why is Jack Black not on there somewhere? Why, you know, there's an absolute, and so if you look at this, you've got The Boy and the Heron with a single nod. You've got Godzilla -1 with a single nod. You've got Super Mario Brothers with not a single nod on the Oscars. And these were industry-altering films. Yes. You've got The Boy and the Heron proving
that may be Miyazaki's last film, but yes, he says that a lot.
No, perfectly said. You've got Godzilla -1 showing that you can make a movie that looks like it was $350 million in production for 10. And by the way, that U.S. audiences will go watch something with subtitles when they have nothing in the English market that even comes close to it. And then you've got the Super Mario Brothers movie, which shows, oh, if you create something that's non-divisive, i.e. Pixar and Disney, you can make over $1 billion easy. It blew up the entire narrative. And yet, of those 3 films, those, again, market-defining, industry-defining films in the last year, 2 Oscar nominations total. That's the story, not Barbie.
It's offensive, actually, and it's something like, if you want to be outraged, Barbie is not the thing to get outraged about. It's the fact that the Academy and the Academy voters willingly overlooked vastly superior films to place their message first and foremost, because that's why you got Spider-Verse in there at all. It wasn't because of artistic quality or good storytelling or, you know, any of that. It wasn't because of great performances by the voice actors. It wasn't because it was well put together. It was basically the message. The same thing would hold true for something like Elemental, which is probably one of the weakest efforts that has ever come out of Pixar. And The Boy and the Heron is just artistically beautiful. So you can make an argument that was snubbed across the board, not just in the animation category. You can make an argument that that Nintendo's first foray into the cinematic universe with the Mario film, that was overlooked, because that had an incredible story. It had, you know, obviously a wonderful audio soundtrack, great original songs and things, which, you know, you would suspect that would be, you know, Jack Black would have got, you know, a nod there. And there are so many other more well-deserving films out there that Hollywood has been held hostage by their messaging. And so much so that you have to qualify in a bunch of different checkbox categories in order to even be in the best picture conversation. And I mean, people could say that Godzilla should have been considered for best picture, and perhaps even Mario. I mean, if you're going to look at dollars to donuts, you know, Mario was the second highest grossing film of the year compared to Barbie. Should have been the first, but, you know, it is what it is.
Exactly. Yeah. And, you know, it definitely had a major impact on the market. We're going to read this article, folks, but just a reminder of just how popular this movie is, and it still is. It's the second highest streamed movie on Netflix as of the latest Nielsen charts. So it continues to dominate. Culture, I want to wrap this up by saying that I don't think that this is some sort of giant conspiracy to stop Japan. No. When I say that Hollywood is terrified of Japan, I don't say that as if there's some sort of concerted effort to snub Japan. No. I think this is the actual, real, nascent bias. Not that they're trying to lift up the patriarchy via kin. I think there's sort of a sleeping bias where, oh, Super Mario Brothers, we're not really going to give an award to a video game movie. The Boy and the Heron, I don't know. I mean, it's fine. We'll give it a nod for best animated, but that's it. And Godzilla, it had subtitles. It's really not an American film. Does it really deserve to be here on these other categories? It should probably be on international. They didn't nominate it. How much does that really say about Japan if they don't? Those are the kinds of thoughts that are happening, which I think relegate these items to being in a box. And I think that it's time for Hollywood, I think it's time for California to open their minds to the idea that there are films from all over the world which are going to outperform what we have here in the West, because the West has decided that woke is the way, and woke clearly has betrayed all of them. Culture, your final thoughts on this topic?
Well, I mean, in order not to make it a musical, I won't say it, woke is the word, but I'll say that I'm disappointed with Hollywood and the Academy voters, as I usually am when it comes to film. Oftentimes they are blind to what they should be paying attention to, which is the quality of the material that's being provided, the quality of the art. And it's no longer that. It became a political game, in support of whatever it is they're trying to support at the time. Since, well, we'll go back to the days of when Harvey just basically bought the awards for people.
Well, that's true.
And I think that's a real problem. And it really does challenge or gives reason to challenge their integrity. The value 94 years in, because we are coming up on the 94th anniversary of this award, is even further diminished. And it does lead me to question whether or not we should allow people to vote awards for themselves or not, because it seems a little silly.
And yet, what reigns supreme? It's the vote that each and every person has with their wallet. Nothing else even comes close. The award show is but meager fan service from the industry, whereas you all make the decisions with every dollar you give to the industry. You all decide what will be on the screens in the future. And it seems as of late, you all have been speaking very loudly in favor of the traditions and the values that Japan has been putting into its content. Thus, why all three films we've discussed from Japan won bigly. And when it comes to Barbie, well, for those of you who are mad about Barbie and Margot Robbie and Greta Gerwig seemingly snubbed, you've already made them winners. So be happy in that. Be happy in that. All right, folks, that is the video for today. If you like content like this, consider clicking the like button, share, subscribe, and when you click it, you do stick it to the algorithms. It's the notification bell. Drop a comment down below. Let us know your thoughts and tell us, is this all overblown? Has Barbie truly been wronged? Are your eyes open to the injustices of the world now that Ken has got the win? And make sure to check out Culture Casino on his channel. Culture, what do you got coming up soon?
Well, we got some videos coming out today, probably one that's just a broader picture, broader stroke of what's going on in Hollywood from a writing perspective. You've actually made it so I don't have to do anything commenting on the Oscars, so thanks for letting me be here, Pro. And of course, I will be I'll be dropping a couple other off-the-cuff videos later today, so keep your eyes out for those.
Looking forward to them as always. Folks, another reminder, we have folks that we know who actually vote on these things. We love them, we care about them. We're not trying to be too harsh with this video. We hope it's not taken that way. And we do have a special pro show on the way, coming to you this Thursday at 5 p.m. Eastern Time, a special pro show covering the latest, and specifically Elon Musk and Nelson Peltz. It's a video, a live stream, a show you do not want to miss. Folks, wherever you are and whatever you're doing, keep learning, keep growing, and keep having fun.
Clickbait, fraud, drama queen. Ugh, I wish there was a channel that was 5 to 6 minute news reads without the drama, frauds, and clickbait that could accurately let me know the current news, providing my crucial context utilizing all the different That Park Place contributors and creators.
Well, stupid. There is. It's the That Park Place YouTube channel, which will be going live real soon, so make sure you're subscribed so you can really stick it to the algorithms.
You're joking.
Nope.